Okay, and we are live. Welcome to a new episode of All Things Xbox Podcast. Once again, I got Logan with me. Logan, how you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good, Jamie. Life's good. Sports are in full swing. We got lots of good gaming news. All in all, pretty good day. How about you?
As people may have heard on Boom Show earlier today, I'm falling to bits. I didn't tell you this. I'm sick again. I have a trapped nerve in my shoulder, my left shoulder. I can't move my arm. It feels like it's about to be ripped out of its socket, so that's new. Um, oh yeah, and I choked on a glass of water about 5 minutes ago. It feels like I'm drowning. That's lovely. So if I happen to cough during this show, just know, yeah, I'm basically drowning. It's awful. But other than that, it's been a good week. And yes, I happen to be very clumsy. So there's that. But it's been a good week. And before we get into what we've been playing, you mentioned sports. And I wanted to mention this to you because you do watch sports. And I do watch what I watch wrestling. And they do try to sell tickets, apparently. And the WWE did the most stupid move I've ever seen. Like, this just goes to show that people that are up top at these companies in the CEO seats, they have no idea how regular people think or work. So last week, so it'll be 9 days before WrestleMania starts, they announced, hey, we're going to have tickets 25% off. And it's going to be set in, Las Vegas, very expensive city. And all I could think was like, so do these people in these like offices really expect, let's say, like a family of four, like a mother, father, two kids, can arrange a trip to Vegas in 9 days? Like, I'm sorry, but as far as I know, Las Vegas is expensive, and it would require some planning. For me, I'd like like a month or two to plan things. But yeah, just announcing that 9 days before WrestleMania, I thought they are absolutely brain dead. Like, nobody's gonna go for that, and you have tickets that are gonna cost like 16 grand for crappy seats. So yeah, I'm guessing basketball isn't that expensive.
Well, it depends on your team and who you're playing and if it's postseason or not. Like, for example, like if you're one of the true title contending teams, like your tickets will understandably be more than another team. Like that is like at the bottom of the barrel looking for a lottery pick.
Yeah,
Um and then like individual matchups, like if you have another title team coming to town to play, or if there's like a particularly spicy narrative around a different team and your team, or if like various circumstances can change pricing, but for the most part they're pretty affordable. Um, for some reason, like New York Knicks, like their prices for games are like psychotically high,
yeah.
and Lakers tickets are psychotically high. But home with the Thunder, the number one overall seed, the title favorite, our tickets have been very affordable and very good and reasonably priced, and it it's market based and also like just I don't know, it depends on what the agenda is for the organization. Some want to make as much bang for their buck as possible, and some want to just get as many people in as possible. So it depends, but it's nothing like that, no.
Okay, because like as someone that wants to go to WrestleMania at some point, my God, no chance. Like it, I might as well just host a watch party. But that's wrestling aside. It's been a busy week. Logan, what have you been playing?
Well, this week I have been playing Super Meat Boy 3D.
Nice.
Been really, really enjoying it. My goodness, I forgot how obnoxiously difficult
Yeah.
that franchise is. It had been a minute since I had played the original, and this just feels like 3D version of that, and I'm rather enjoying it, but I'm taking my time with it. Instead of trying to like plow through it and get a bunch of missions done or a world done at a time, I'm just doing a few missions and then moving on to a different game
Yeah.
and then coming back later. That way I don't like just get blood boiling mad because of how obnoxiously difficult some of the sections are. Like if you don't bounce off a wall a certain way or like jump at a certain angle and this, it's like, oh, you have to restart the whole thing and it's very rage inducing, but you also feel super accomplished when you beat it. And so, been playing that. The Adventure Time DLC came for Power Wash 2. So been playing that. I um I wrapped up Disco Elysium. It was incredible.
Oh, nice.
Masterclass game. Just chef's kiss. Can't say enough praise about it. Can't wait for the spiritual successor that they're making. And so been doing those, watching a lot of shows, sports, just life stuff. How about you, man?
Yeah, a bunch of games. I've actually been playing Replaced, which came out today. Um, I have to say thanks to Sad Cat Studios, they provided me with a review code also today.
Oh,
um,
very nice.
but my God, I have to say, right. So this game was announced June 2021. Looked very cool, very synthwave cyberpunk game. Not much was known about it, and then they kind of went dark for like a year and a half, and then they announced a delay, and then another delay, and then another delay, and it finally came out today. And I, honestly, I'm not even kidding. From what I've played so far, I think this is going to be in the game of the year conversation.
So worth the wait, you'd say.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, I know as someone that clearly doesn't make video games, um, playing this immediately, you're like, okay, I see why this took 5 years. Even more than 5 years because it has that 2.5D art style, and I've never seen it done so well in this game. It has lighting that looks like ray tracing. The performance and visuals, I get out the way quickly. It's 4K 60 on Series X. It's 2K 60 on Series S. Phenomenal looking game. Honestly, like, it's hard to put into words how good it is because it's unusually cinematic. Normally, with like 2D side scrolling games, they aren't really cinematic at all. There's not really any cutscenes or anything like that. But no, this game just nails it. You have atmosphere. It's it's kind of got cutscenes. Just the in-game visuals match the cutscenes in-game perfectly. It's incredible. For people like myself that love synthwave music and I love the cyberpunk subgenre, this is incredible. It really is. It has combat that's actually a lot like Batman Arkham Knight. Basically the controls are exactly the same. B to dodge, Y to counter. You even have the same like yellow marker above enemies' heads for the counter, which I think is pretty cool. But it's incredible. Really cool story. The story has Ghost in the Shell vibes, which is nice. And when they say the game's inspired by Blade Runner and movies like Upgrade and Aliens, you see that out of the gate. Like it oozes Blade Runner. But yeah, it's incredible. I'm like 2 or 3 chapters in. I think people are going to eat this up. It's got both multiple difficulties. Basically, the way it works is I think that every time you go into combat, you have 2 health potions, or stims, they call them in the game, and they recover every time you finish the battle. So, like, you could be walking down a street, and there'll be some, like, thugs that'll jump out with, like, like cyberpunk visors and stuff. It's just really good. For everyone that has Game Pass right now, download it, play it, because I think this is going to be really refreshing in the indie space. Um, you know, Personally, I'm getting a bit tired of seeing it. Like, old games don't bother me. Clearly, I talk about them all the time. But when I see all these new games that have that 8-bit Super Nintendo style, as cool as they look, I feel like I've played a million of these games. But with this being like 2.5D and it has 3D environments, I think it uses voxels. And for people that don't know, a voxel is essentially a 3D pixel. So instead of squares, you have cubes. And they've made an environment that just looks stunning. But yeah, I'd be shocked if this isn't in the Game of the Year conversation at the end of the year. And also, it's got great reviews. It's getting 9s, 10s, 8s. You always have your occasional outlier that gives these games a 6. But it gets them.
Excuse me.
Yeah, there's always one. There's always one outlier. But Replaced, oh my god. I'm not entirely sure of the length of the game, but considering I'm on chapter 3 and I've played for maybe 2 hours, and I think there's 15 chapters. I'll have to check. But yeah, a lot of the achievements look like they're easy to get as well. But man, even I want to praise this game for its menu, right? So in the game, you have this device that kind of looks like an iPod, and
That sounds cool.
And when you use it, bear in mind the camera's far away, it's 2.5D. When you use it, the camera zooms all the way in to your character holding this like iPod looking thing, and you scroll through the menu using a button on the side. And it's such a small detail that they didn't have to put in there. And I was just like, that's nice. They've clearly been making it for 5 years. I think it might be like an 8-year game in development. Like it's a small team making it. But even like comparing the visuals to what they showed 5 years ago to what's out now, it's night and day. It looked great 5 years ago. It looks even better now. The soundtrack. As someone that fell in love with synthwave almost a decade ago, let me tell you, this game slaps. It has arguably one of the best game soundtracks I've heard in years. And yeah, I will eat that cyberpunk music up, that synthwave, because one, there's not enough synthwave in video games in my opinion. But wow, what a game! And yeah, that's out today. It's in Game Pass Ultimate, and it's about 6 gigabytes, so a fairly small download. They also announced it's got like a Steam Deck verified mode, because I know there's people with the handhelds and stuff. And as far as I know, Steam Deck verified games work on ROG Allies.
For the most part.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's more powerful. Like the ROG Ally is way more powerful than the Steam Deck, but it should work. But yeah, really cool game. Really cool game. I've also been playing Arc Raiders. I'll get this out of the way quickly. It's a fun game, but I think I'm going to tone down the amount I'm playing, because it has, like I've told you, Logan, I've told everyone listening, the rat issue online was bad. It's getting out of hand. There's people camping extracts almost every single match. Nobody's working together anymore. And I think it has something to do with the fact that there's just no new content. You have the streamers that basically work through everything within the first week. And you have people that just they absolutely sweated the game, worked their way through all the quests, and now they're looking for other things to do. And that other thing is camp extracts and, fight other players.
Griefing.
Yeah, griefing. The griefing problem is massive in that game. Like, there's an enemy in the game, right? Like, the droid that the Empire sends down to Hoth at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, that one. Spot on.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like that, but it fires shotgun shells if it sees you, and you are absolutely wrecked if it sees you. It can hover up to you really close, and you have no time to get away. Well, anyway, I'm trying to dodge one of these things. I'm in the tunnels underneath one of the maps, minding my own business, right? I see in chat, right, rats have gotten worse. Thank you, Shizno, right? I feel like I've been taking crazy pills the first couple of months. It was all super wavy gravy where everyone's getting along and talking to each other, and now it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland of despair. And anyway, I'm underneath the map, in the tunnels, shall I say, and I'm just minding my own business, getting crafting materials, and I'm slowly walking backwards away from this, probe-looking robot thing. And anyway, this other player slides around the corner, starts shooting at me, And I'm shouting down my mic. I'm like, look, I'm just getting crafting materials. You can get the boss. I don't care. Anyway, he threw a smoke, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And bear in mind, I've put over 100 hours into actually playing that game in maps. So this is the fourth person I've killed in the game. Because, like, I wasn't going to lose my stuff. Turns out I did anyway, because that robot got me, thanks to that stupid player. But now, anyway, the rat problem has gotten so bad that people in the Arc Raiders community have made a website where you can actually list the person that ratted you, and basically you put bounties on them. It's not a mechanic inside the game. Basically, when someone kills you, it tells you on screen who killed you. Well, you can put that person's name on this website, right?
And a shame hunt list.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you find out that person, ratted you, put the name on the list, and maybe you can give the person that gets them in return a reward. But yeah, they need to put more anti-ratting mechanics in the game. I know it's a hot topic in the Arc Raiders community when you say they need a PvE only mode. I'm gonna put my foot in the sand and say it needs a PvE only mode, because it's borderline unplayable. When you start a game in Arc Raiders, right? You have 30 minutes. That's if you're lucky. The longest a game can last is 30 minutes, and there's a counter at the top of the screen. Right, I'm almost done talking about Arc Raiders. I know when I talk about multiplayer, people fall asleep, but bear with me. So anyway, it says 30 minutes on the clock. I'm thinking, right, I can get whatever I want done in 30 minutes, and then I can extract. So anyway, I'm walking across this grassy field, and I start shooting at this robot enemy. It kind of looks like a big wrecking ball thing, but it explodes if it gets close to you. Anyway, I shoot at this thing twice, and all of a sudden I see the sniper shot go whizzing past my head. And I'm thinking, I've been in this game for about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, probably about 50 seconds, and I've already got people hiding in bushes trying to take me out. That's how bad it is. So I thought, screw it, I'd leave. But that game has gotten bad. I think that PvE only, they need it. I know there's people in the space that don't want it because they think it's going to split the player base too much. But if you've got 14 million players and counting, that shouldn't be something that people need to worry about. I know a lot of people that would play, like my friend that I play it with when we do duos sometimes, right? He is amazing at Call of Duty. I hope he doesn't listen to this because it'll boost his ego. But he is amazing at Call of Duty, borderline pro level, right? When we play Arc Raiders, he is annoyed to live in hell that he's just getting ratted all the time, right? He's got no good gear, no supplies, nothing. And even he wants a PvE mode, right? Someone that is amazing at Call of Duty. And that just goes to show, like, they have amazing gameplay, amazing visuals, and even the world they've created is super interesting. I even like the design of the maps themselves. And they just have this ratting problem where you just have these absolute tool bags, these tool rags, just messing up people's games, messing up time, and it's not fun. I went from talking about Arc Raiders on Twitter every other day to not at all because of this problem. And people will say, oh, it's a PvP game. Nonsense. The game was originally designed as PvE, and even the developers have said, you're not meant to destroy other people. You just can. So I'm putting this out there, and I hope someone from Embark listens to this. There's a lot of single-player-centric people like myself that have enjoyed the game for months since launch, and now it's an absolute nightmare because you have these people that just can't play nice. Like, hell, you live in a world where these robots are potentially the size of buildings, and rather than fighting them, they're fighting other dudes. Come on. But yeah, just thought I'd do a little rant about that because, my God, Arc Raiders, I love that game. Might be one of my favorite games this generation, but it is so hard to enjoy that game when you've got people that do that stuff. And, that also takes part in the marathon topic we'll be talking about in a bit because that has a similar issue as well. But
or as much grief. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, say that again.
I was saying for as much grief as Fallout 76 got at the beginning, it has always had a really positive community. Like people are like it is massively unprecedented if you encounter a hostile individual that
Yeah,
is another player. Like, even though they made it where you can, people are just like so nice and helpful in that game, especially to new players. So it's interesting just to see how the communities differ so much
yeah.
on grand scale games like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I haven't played 76, but I want it gets its next gen upgrade this year, so I'll be playing it then. But like you mentioned that, and it just reminded us that I've seen so many clips where someone starts that game up and they walk out the vault for the first time, and there's a dude, another player wearing power armor, and they just drop tons of like loot at their feet because they're so kind, you know. Um, like the Fallout player base are clearly kinder than the people I'm interacting with in Arc Raiders, but man, it's just such a shame to see because, you know, I guess like you have these people that enjoy just ruining other people's games. I don't see why people get a kick out of that. Griefing other players, but yeah, hopefully it's something that's tackled in the future. But my God, can we get some 76 players playing Arc Raiders? Like, it's just not fun. Um, it's such a shame because when this generation's done, I think Arc Raiders will be in the top 25 list of best games of the gen. But my God, that game makes my blood boil. like, like the clips I post on Twitter don't record my voice, but if you could hear me swear, you'd be surprised. I sound very polite online, but put me in an Arc Raiders situation, oof. I get vocal very fast. Um,
You sail the seven seas. Yeah.
yeah, my God, you've heard what I can swear like sometimes when we off air, but um, blood boil. That's all I can say. But hey, that's Arc Raiders. Hopefully things get better, and we're getting a new map this month, so hopefully the sweaters will just leave us alone. Now we have a bunch of topics today. I think we have like 14 topics. Yeah, about 14 topics. So we'll get into it. So I want to get this out of the way quickly, and I know Logan might. I'm guessing Logan already knows about this. So Power Wash Sim. That game is getting a bunch of DLC removed from the Xbox Store, PlayStation Store. I don't know if it's on Switch and PC. So claim it now before it disappears in May. That is the Tomb Raider DLC and the Final Fantasy VII DLC for Power Wash Sim. Now, Logan, I know you absolutely adore Power Wash Sim. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame this DLC is getting removed, but it has something to do with their relationship ending with Square Enix in June.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like this ties into a greater topic about licenses and the massive problem that has in gaming. But for this particular example, it being tied to this game no longer being a published thing by Square, and that, the studio thankfully has the full rights to the games now going forward, and, they're fully independent, and that they were given permission to use, Final Fantasy VII and Tomb Raider, which were Square Enix IPs at the time. I mean, Final Fantasy VII still is, Tomb Raider is not. Um, but it's a bummer. At least it's been out for several years. It's not
Yeah.
oh, we released this limited thing and now it's gone a year later. At least it's been out a while. But I hate to see these things keep happening, and hopefully this is just a one-off for them and it doesn't affect the other DLCs, because my gosh, in the year of our Lord 2026, we have got to get our heads and acts together and figure out a better solution to licensing and gaming.
Yeah.
It cannot be this difficult. Like, it is just stupendously just asinine, some of the qualifications and restringent limitations that are put on games and their preservation because of quote reasons. Like, for example, like, may I stretch this a little bit
Oh
and
yeah,
like
yeah, go.
include? Okay, sorry, but it just reminded me of like some examples. Like, for example, you remember Alan Wake when it first came out? Like, the batteries themselves were a key component in the game
Yeah.
because you use a flashlight. And they did a fun little sponsored thing, which added realism to the game, but also it technically was a licensing thing. They had like Duracell or Energizer. I can't remember which
I
one,
think it was
but one of those
Energizer.
two, yeah, Energizer, one of the big battery brands, like as official items in the game. Every time that pops up, that's a licensing thing. Anytime you see a vending machine in a game, that's a licensing thing. Like in the original Fear, there were like these Dell like computers in the offices of like the place when you're running around from Alma and these things are trying to tear you a new one. There's Dells in the offices and stuff. That's licensing stuff. It's like, it's just, I get it, but the idea of those being so prohibitive, or like, for example, the guy who made Prey, the original one, not the reboot from Bethesda,
Oh
but the
yeah.
original one on 360, they paid $10,000 to license "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult for that crazy abduction scene at the beginning of the game. Iconic. And for budget reasons, 10K, not a big deal at all. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, okay, that's cool for 3 minutes or whatever it was. They said that they tried to license a similar type thing now within the last year or two for a project or two, and it was like $145,000 for a similar type thing for one song. And so, my friends, the ones who really want Jet Set Radio Future, that does not
Yeah.
that does not bode well. Okay? If say you have like 12 songs on a game and they're 145 grand a pop just for licensing the soundtrack, not even the effort to make the game playable or to do this and this. It's like you got to weigh the cost benefit, and it's just we've got to come up with a way, because movies and sound and shows have it to where Star Wars isn't getting delisted, Titanic isn't getting delisted, Godfather isn't getting delisted. Like all these iconic films, they have deals in place that work. But for some reason, the game industry is still a little suspect and new to them, and they have these archaic draconian policies in place. So it's just, I don't know, man. To go from 10K for a song, for a 3 minute clip of a song, to $145,000 for the same type of thing is insane.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as I was saying with Replaced, like I'm a huge synthwave fan, and I mainly
Hmm.
listen to like indie bands, right?
Hmm.
Most people have never heard of the bands I listen to. Not because I'm like, smelling my own farts and I'm a pretentious music nerd, just because these
Oh,
bands,
you're a hipster, Jamie.
yeah,
Boo.
definitely not, definitely not. But like these people that I listen to, like they like up and coming like artists. Like I'll list a band right now who I'd say this band's maybe the biggest in the synthwave space, called The Midnight, right?
Oh, I
Excellent.
love them. They're
Yeah.
really
Oh
good.
yeah, absolutely great, right? But like bands like that, I think more games need to start licensing music from like smaller bands, right? Because like if you've blown half of your budget on a soundtrack, it's getting a bit outrageous. And I bet that the deals for like timed, like the life of these songs in these games would be a lot longer. Because like when I'm playing a big game or a small game, and I hear a piece of licensed music, I don't really get all giddy and think, "Oh yeah, that's cool," right? Like in a movie, I kind of get that, but not in a game. I don't really care. Like soundtrack adds to the experience, but like I don't care if it's a big, like a big hit that came out 5 years ago or something. just get smaller bands music, and it's getting ridiculous. Yeah, the whole price thing, and levels being delisted. My theory about the whole Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy thing is that there were free maps.
Hmm.
And like, I bet if those cost money, I bet Square Enix would be completely fine with those being listed on the store. But hey, if people want to get those expansions, they're completely free on Xbox. It's the Tomb Raider expansion and Final Fantasy VII expansion for Power Wash Sim. And bear in mind, there was a time when myself and Logan thought that was the only Final Fantasy VII content we were going to get.
Yeah.
Because there's
And
areas like,
then Stellar Blade said, "Hold my beer" with the PUBG Eve skin.
oh, that was wonderful. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because of that skin, but PUBG's been popping off this past week. So maybe people are really into the Eve skin for that game. But there's like over 1 million people playing concurrently on Steam the other day. Like, it hasn't done that in years. But anyway, we have the first super chat of the day by Nick W. Thank you very much for the $4.99. He says, Mouse PI for hire, Pragmata, and Replaced. So many great games came out this week. Yeah, big week for video games. Pragmata, like, Capcom's owning it right now. Monster Hunter. Oh my god, what was it called? Monster Hunter Wilds last year. That did really well. Resident Evil 9 Requiem. That's probably going to be in the Game of the Year conversation. And Pragmata, the funny thing about Pragmata, when it was announced, I think that was announced about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. Like, nobody knew what the hell it was, right? You had this dude in a spacesuit walking through Manhattan with holographic cats all around him. And then, they get slingshotted to the moon. There's this little girl who may be a robot. Like, none of it made sense, right?
It
It
was
seemed,
Sad Dad Goes to Space. Yeah.
yeah, it just didn't make sense, right? It almost seemed Kojima-esque, which I'm down for. I like that weird Kojima stuff. And they went away. They kept delaying it, and then they showed a gameplay trailer, and the gameplay trailer looked cool. There's a demo out now, and I think people should play that. Very cool gameplay. Logan, have you played the demo, by the way?
No, but I am fiending for the game, and I think I might just go ahead and buy it day one. Like I've been seeing a lot of great comments from people I respect and know, and even emotionally and thematically, it seems like it's gonna scratch an itch, and it looks very. When I start hearing like titles from seventh gen as its comparisons and
Yeah.
like the vibes it carries, I mean, that's a day one for me. It just sounds like Capcom's really in their bag again, and we're getting a throwback type game, and I'm excited.
Yeah, brand new IP, brand new sci-fi universe, and like, they've knocked it out of the park. People love this game, and if you haven't played the demo, the best way I could describe it is like, one, they nailed that gameplay. Like, wow. Um, and for people that haven't played, I'll try and explain how the combat works in that game. So you have different weapons in the game. There's a handgun, there's a shotgun, there's a thing that kind of looks like a rifle type thing. Um, but as you aim at an enemy, so like you hold the left trigger, you point your gun at the enemy, and then this little hacking mini game pops up on screen. And you basically have to move this little cursor around with the face buttons as you're aiming at the enemy. It sounds more complicated than it is. It's super simple. And as someone that doesn't like overly layered and overly complex gameplay mechanics, when I first saw this in motion, I was thinking, oh no, I'm not going to like this. And then 2 seconds later, I loved it. I'm like, it's super easy. It conveys to the player what they have to do. It's like, hey, you're going to take down this enemy with maybe 10 shots, but if you use this little hacking mini game as you're fighting it, you can knock it down in maybe 3 shots and save ammo. Right? Super smart. And I think that's something that gaming needs right now, because they've just completely changed how third-person shooting combat can work. Just out of nowhere. And that seems like a very Capcom thing to do. That they're just absolutely nailing it, which I love. very interesting universe. I'll say that from the demo. You know, you have this little girl who I'm gonna guess is an android. Um, Basically, the game's set on this abandoned moon facility, and you have to try and get back to Earth, as far as I know. And the AI that runs the facility is trying to stop you. So, hey, Capcom having a huge success, and I hope this new IP pops off. We need more interesting IP, and thankfully, so far, it's reviewing really well, and hopefully it will do well. I think just like Capcom fans in general are going to buy this in bulk. A lot of people have had the eye on this game for years. There's a lot of sci-fi fans had the eye on this game for years, so like, there's a lot of opportunity there. And like Nick said, Mouse PI for hire. That game, when that was first announced, that was when the statute of limitations was up. I can't even. That's not even the term, but like when the rights to Mickey Mouse went up in the digital domain or public domain, they came out with that art style. Obviously, it's very different from Mickey Mouse now, and it was kind of just this prototype they had about 5 years ago, and it's came a long way. You play is this detective. I think it's Detective Jack Pepper, voiced by Troy Baker. Incredible art style. You know, as someone that isn't a game developer, I think it's really cool that you can have a 3D first-person shooter that has 2D hand-drawn 1920s cartoon animation style.
Beat it, Toots.
Yeah, incredible. The game looks cool. You know, it's kind of a mix between Doom and Cuphead in a really cool way. But yeah, that game's going to pop off. That game looks really good. And I think that comes out on, I think that's Thursday. Actually, it might be tomorrow now I think about it. But yeah, big week for video games. Logan, are you looking forward to Mouse PI for hire at all?
Oh yeah, that one has had my eye for a while. Looks really fun, and I love the noir vibe of stuff in general. Anyway, I eat that stuff up. The whole Humphrey Bogart black and white fedora private investigator stuff. I can't get enough of it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah, that is a setting we don't have enough in video games.
It's such a good one. I don't understand why we don't.
Yeah, I was watching the movie The Shadow last night, which is
Mhm.
set in like the 30s or 40s. You know, everyone's wearing top hats in the US and stuff. Like I love that setting. Absolutely adore it. You know, I've been wanting to replay LA Noire just to have that vibe again. But yeah, this game looks really cool. Now, this wasn't really a topic until Nick reminded us in chat by mentioning Mouse PI for hire, but Mouse PI for hire and Replaced have something very particular in common when it comes to Xbox performance. It turns out these indie developers are actually optimizing their games. Who would have thought? So back to Replaced, you have 4K 60 on the Series X, you have 2K 60 on the Series S. The performance, people love. But what surprised me the most is the settings for Mouse PI for hire on Xbox Series X and S. So performance mode on Series X is 1600p at 120 frames per second. And it has a quality mode of 4K 60 FPS. So you're going to have some damn good visuals on Series X. But the Series S version shocked me because some people look at these colorful art styles or, hand-drawn art styles and think they are less taxing. It's actually the opposite, right? So if you have like a cel-shaded game or like something that looks more hand-drawn, these could be more taxing. So when I saw the Series S performance, I was shocked. So for performance mode on the Series S, you have 1260p, 120 FPS, and quality mode is 1600p at 60 FPS. So, wow. And it's also a 13 gigabyte game. So they've absolutely nailed it. So every time I see a big studio not optimizing their games, all I can think is like, did you even try? Like, really? look at Black Myth Wukong. Did it really take you exactly 1 year to the day to optimize that game? Like, I could go on, but yeah, they really did an amazing job with the ports of these games. Yeah, we have Forza Horizon 6 that comes out next month. That apparently looks amazing on the console as well, and that's also 60 frames per second. So, like, how come we can see these amazing looking games on the Series S that perform great, and then the second I mention GTA, people think it's going to look like Pac-Man? Like, Rockstar, excuse me, has never put out a bad looking game with bad performance. That's not what they do. They don't do bad ports. You have external studios that do remasters years later that are terrible, but Rockstar, they don't do bad things. But I just wanted to bring that up because, like, they clearly know how to optimize these games for the Series S. Just some companies aren't bothered to try. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Logan, what's your thought on the Series S situation? Because these two developers, they've clearly proven you can get great visuals at a good resolution at a great frame rate.
The Series S is a impressive little marvel of engineering. It kind of reminds me of the GameCube a little bit in that it really punches above its weight for what it is. And is it the Series X? No, but it's an affordable entryway into this gen, and it's great for casual gamers or for those who aren't particular about certain thresholds and specs. And it's a mighty fine console, so I'm glad it's doing well and these games are hitting benchmarks. And yeah, it doesn't have to, coincidentally appear as soon as the clock strikes midnight on a year for you to figure out how to optimize it. Just say.
Yeah. Um, we are having like a lot of cool looking games that come out in the next few months. I hope we just see more good ports because look, there's a lot of people that have a Series S. It's a more affordable console, especially at a time when look, graphics cards are costing thousands of dollars, which they shouldn't. RAM is costing like hundreds of pounds and hundreds of dollars, which it shouldn't. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, consoles going up in price, VR's going up in price, like everything's going up in price. And it's like it'd be cool if these developers would actually optimize their games. Thankfully, some actually are, which is nice. You know what? Let's talk about this quickly because I know there's a lot of fans of this game, and we've been waiting a very long time for this. So it looks like Assassin's Creed 4 Resynced is going to be shown off this week. Um, Now this game has actually been in development for a long time, but they haven't leaked anything when it comes to screenshots. Um, there was that thing a couple of months ago, but people kind of determined it was AI. Um, but AC4 is arguably one of the best selling ones of the franchise, arguably one of the best ones of the franchise because of how popular it was and just how good it is. It looks like we're finally going to see the remake in action this month or this week, and it might be at Ubisoft's own event. And they haven't had their own event in, I believe, 3 years. I think the last time they actually had their own event was when they showed off Star Wars Outlaws for the first time. So it's been a while. And anyway, looks like it's going to be showed off this week. Personally, I love Assassin's Creed 4. I think it's bloody incredible. It's been a long time coming. They probably put it off for as long as they could simply because AC Shadows is still selling and they want to maximize how many sales they can get out of that because the second 4 comes out, all eyes are going to be on that. Now, is it a full-on remake? Is it a remake in the sense that it's one-to-one and it just looks better? Will it have the ability to crouch? Which I will never let up. But either way, it's going to be showing off this week. Logan, are you looking forward to this at all? Because, it has been a while since Assassin's Creed 4 came out, but I think there's still a lot of people that would like to replay that, just a better version.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 4 is you know, you know, bar none the best pirate game ever made.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. Like you can just take Assassin's Creed out of the name and it still would be just incredible. Like I just really enjoyed the story, the gameplay, the something about hunting down and fighting the legendary ships was just so much fun and so taxing. And then, the legendary whales and, beasts and things. And it's so much fun. And I would love it if they added some extra content
Yeah.
all these years later. Like if they added some more missions or story or some mechanics to make it a little different, but overall, yeah, I'm totally down for it.
Yeah, like one of the other rumors that came out with that game is that apparently it's removing. Excuse me. Apparently it's removing all of the modern day stuff. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and honestly, I'm actually okay with it. I think the modern day stuff became boring when they got rid of Desmond.
Yeah. Once
Um,
they bagged him, it was kind of yeah.
yeah, because they had Desmond, they were going a certain place with the story, and then when 4 came out, it was this first person thing where you're in an office, like, and you had to go around accessing different computer terminals. Like, really, is that what we're doing now? Um, but as a pirate game, Assassin's Creed 4, my god, like you mentioned, hunting the legendary ships, the whales, even just like getting caught up in a storm in that game
Hmm.
is super fun, and it's something we really don't see now. And I don't understand why game developers don't make pirate games. Like, it just seems like another genre that developers like miss out on. Like, we can have 1,000 fantasy games with trolls, dragons, and caves. No sci-fi games, no pirate games. It all has to be fantasy. My God in heaven. At some point, I'm gonna have a mental breakdown if I see another game announced with like dragons and stuff.
What about sewer rats?
Like, that I'm okay with, yeah, because you can maybe like sci-fi them up a bit. But my God, I can't take it. Like, just give us some more variety. Like, hell, I want more cowboy games, but it's almost as if Rockstar shit. They showed off Red Dead 2, and other developers like, nope.
I
Like,
mean,
at this,
Xbox could revive Gun. They own it now.
yeah, they could, but I just want more variety, man. Like, steampunk is rare. Cyberpunk, neopunk. There's any amount of punk out there, but like, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but like, I was just watching a trailer, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and it just, honestly, almost a tear nearly went down my face, because this game is going to be absolutely peak. So anyway, uh, the Expanse, Osiris Reborn, it was announced last year, and it absolutely shocked me. Because moderator of the channel, Pyro Mad, he messaged me. He's like, "Did you see this?" Knowing I'm a fan of the Expanse, and this game did not leak at all, which is rare these days. And I fell in love with this game. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna need this." And for people that don't know, The Expanse is a brilliant TV series based on a set of books, which were massive at the time. And this video game is basically in the vein of Mass Effect, right? So it's a third-person shooter with hub world game design, and it's an RPG, and it looks like it's probably going to be the best game since sliced bread. I may be going overboard, but it looks excellent. Anyway, so it was announced at the Xbox Partner Preview that it's going to be in Game Pass, and the developers over the past couple of weeks they've been slowly, showing clips and teasing the game on Twitter. And I had to rewind one of the clips because I just start laughing. Because at the bottom of the screen, when you see gameplay in that trailer, it shows you the control layout. And I'm not even kidding. And I mean this in the nicest way possible, and I don't mean it in a bad way at all. This game, The Expanse of Osiris Reborn, has beat for beat the exact control settings and style as Mass Effect 3. Like, everything.
If
The
it ain't
way
broke,
Yeah, if the way you use the commands for other characters and the way you use your abilities is exactly the same as Mass Effect 3. And I just thought, look, these guys have game, right? They know what they're doing, right? If you're gonna copy Mass Effect, just copy it, right? Just do the controls the same. It's like, why do you think all XCOM clones have the exact same controls?
Because they did a bloody good job.
Yeah, like guarantee you, and that'll happen with the Star Wars game that comes out this year, by the way. If you press Y in those games, it's always for Overwatch. Right? You know, you always send a sniper out just to overlook the battlefield, and it's always tied to Y. So when I saw this with the Expanse, I'm like, okay, they're copying Mass Effect's controls. That's a good sign. They've got interesting characters. That's another good sign. So like as a Mass Effect fan, we're gonna eat. We're gonna eat good. So we're getting 2 Mass Effect style games next year minimum. So yeah, I'm very happy. This wasn't originally a topic. I just wanted to, boast about the fact that we're getting something to play because, BioWare hasn't got anything to talk about just yet. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that. And also, it's launching day one on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and millions of fans are going to get to play this game for the first time that know nothing about the Expanse universe, and they are going to be in for a treat because my God
They
in
need
heaven.
to watch the show.
Yeah, please
So
watch
good.
the show. Like that, I know some people that are Battlestar fans have actually like replied to me and said, "What do you mean it's better than Battlestar?" Because it is.
It's blasphemy.
Yeah, and if you'd asked me 5 years ago, by the way, I wouldn't have said that. But if you watch season 4 of Battlestar Galactica, it all goes downhill.
Oh my gosh, that last season is rough, man.
Yeah, terrible. Like if it kept up the quality of season 3, I'd be like, okay, I see what we're doing here. But and I don't even want to spoil it, but Logan, you know what I'm talking about. When certain things happen,
Yeah, by the end of it, I'm like,
yeah,
most shows I'm not glad they're over. This one, it just needed to go.
yeah, like I don't know what they were thinking, but so that's why the Expanse takes the top spot for me over that. But if people haven't watched the Expanse, watch it. 6 seasons that just continues to get better and better, and you can tell the moment Amazon bought them up because the budget clearly went up.
Yeah, it went from Timu to the Ritz Carlton. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, like it looked pretty good anyway. But then when Amazon bought them, like, oh, you could see that the CGI has a lot more detail now. There's like in zero gravity scenes, there's like cups floating around and stuff where the actors actually grab the cups and stuff just to show off they know what they're doing with the budget. And even the camera footage is way better. They're clearly using more expensive lenses. Anyway, that's me, glazing Expanse, the TV show, for 5 minutes. But anyway, we're getting a good game. It resembles Mass Effect in the best possible way. Because, my God in heaven, I've been starving for so long because this wasn't even a topic, but isn't it crazy that was a extremely successful trilogy that didn't spawn any clones at all?
Yeah, that to me seems like a colossal missed opportunity. Like, I mean, you know how many fantasy trilogies we have, or quadrilogies we have, or shooter franchises, and I love all of those, 100%. But like actual, honest to goodness, in depth, like morally and ambiguous like trilogies of sci-fi or gaming is like hardly anything.
Yeah, no one's bothering, and it's kind of disheartening because, my God, I swear, I will be live streaming the summer showcase when that happens. If you see a new RPG announced that has mountains and trolls and dragons and stuff, you're just gonna hear the biggest sigh in the world. You'll hear this slow creaking noise, and it'll be me slowly rolling my eyes. Like, are we doing this again? Really? Another fantasy game? But anyway, we'll move on. We have another super chat, or a super chat by Adidas. 20 or Adidas 20 for the $2. Thank you very much. He says salute. Well, it's all appreciated and all goes back into the channel. It's a very good day. We've got lots of games coming out. Lots of games out now. April is stacked for video games. I know you have people online that like to be melodramatic about like there's not really anything to play. I think it's absolute madness, right? You know, outside of the drama you see online, bloody good time to be a gamer. Bloody good time. So much to play. Pragmata is out this week. Mouse PI is out tomorrow. You have a new Bond game out next month.
Replaced today, Cthulhu later this week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, crazy time. And thank you for the $2, Adidas. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see what we've got next. Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to talk about this, but we might as well because I think it's kind of interesting and might point to something we might like. So, Grand Theft Auto 6, which comes out, apparently, this November, there was a big hacking thing behind the scenes. And anyway, these hackers ransomed the studio for, I think it was $2 million. And anyway, they had a bunch of like private, financial information, marketing timelines and stuff. And apparently Rockstar isn't going to give in. And because of that, the stock jumped like $2 billion at Rockstar. So if anyone bought stock last week for Rockstar Games, you're good. You're good for a time being. Anyway, and I think these developers they shouldn't give in to these demands. I think it's happening way too much. So like, good on Rockstar for not caving in, because like, look, it doesn't matter if everything leaks about Grand Theft Auto or not. That game is gonna sell gangbusters. It's gonna break every record known to man when it comes to gaming. And it doesn't matter if there's 2 minutes of footage online or 10 hours. People are still going to buy it, Logan, what's your take on the situation? Because, like, a $2 billion jump in stock is pretty good, especially for the people that actually have Rockstar stock. But it looks like they're going to make it through the situation and not really have anything bad happen.
Yeah, it's quite impressive for them to literally call their bluff and then they like pull out a full suite of cards or basically and it's just like check, you played yourself, congratulations. And it did only benefit them. And then like the data that was out was interesting about like sales and like user like tendencies. Apparently like PS5 is the predominant platform for Grand Theft Auto and online, which makes sense. And then Xbox is second, and then PC. So it was interesting, but it definitely wasn't like some earth shattering like the Coca-Cola secret formula or anything like that.
Yeah. Before we continue, we have a super chat by Eternal Should Die. Thank you very much for the $2. He says, hello to the panel and chat. Well, hi to you as well. Welcome to the chat. It's a good day. Despite me, feeling like my arm's about to be pulled out my socket and, choking on water because apparently I can't swallow water like an adult. It's a good day. It's a very good day for gaming. And we've got some good topics to talk about still. Like, we still have about 8 topics. And, this is the only week, and I think the past 2 months, where I'm not going to have a massive meltdown about Splinter Cell. There's still time, let's be honest. But yeah, thank you for the $2 Eternal Should Die. We've got a lot of topics to talk about. I'm all over the place today. But last thing with GTA, and I think people might think this is cool. I think it could lead to some cool things. So apparently, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have this thing called procedurally generated breakable glass. I know, amazing, right? Shock and awe, because when you break into cars or houses or whatnot, like this is a new next gen feature or current gen. I think it's cool. I guess that's okay. I can't really glaze up, breakable glass in video games that much. But the reason why I think it might be good is because Grand Theft Auto 4 actually had a lot of physics-based stuff that GTA 5 didn't have. So in Grand Theft Auto 4, if you were driving full speed down a road and then you hit something, Nico would literally go flying out the windshield.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
every
that was
time.
hilarious, right? And it never happened in the game before, at least I know of. But in Grand Theft Auto 5, that didn't happen. And if you look at all these comparisons between 4 and 5, people are always pointing out how like Grand Theft Auto 4 had all this cool physics-based stuff. So maybe I'm reading too much into this, but to me, maybe we're going to see more physics-based stuff in 6 because that was severely missing in 5. But hey, procedurally generated breakable glass. There we go. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6, my God. It still pains me the fact that, oh yeah, you mentioned the slogan. GTA 5 online makes $1 million a day. Right?
They just sit and twiddle their thumbs and make a million a day.
It's crazy. And like it's the shark cards, right? I had the biggest face palm in the world because I was obsessed, and for people that don't know, I'll talk about this now. I had a literal addiction to Grand Theft Auto Online. Like, literal addiction. To the point where I earned around $370 million online without doing the heists and without buying shark cards. So I was addicted, but I wouldn't pay for microtransactions. People will buy that game, and it's been a problem. So, like, you hear about how many copies that game sold, right? Like 250 million. I don't know if you know this, Logan, but in the UK, and I'm guessing this happens in the US as well, you would have people that would go out and buy a new copy of GTA 5 because in the UK, a lot of copies would come with like $2 to $5 million of shark cards. So you'd have people that would go out, buy a copy of the game because it would work out cheaper than buying the shark cards themselves. Crazy, right?
Man, that is true degenerate levels of addiction stuff. I mean, that's sad.
Yeah,
Oof.
and people would take back their games, right? Like I've seen this happen, and I think it's deplorable, right? So like, yeah, whenever for everyone listening right now and whoever listens later, keep in mind the next time you see Rockstar boast about how many copies GTA 5 sold, remember what I just said. People will buy copies of that game for the shark cards. It sounds terrible because it is, but yeah. But like just the amount of people that buy that game in general, it's crazy. It still charts in the top 10. And it's crazy, you know. Like the game's content, this might be controversial. The game's content isn't that good, right? I think 4's a better game. It has expansions. Its multiplayer had no microtransactions at all, and the second they introduced shark cards, what happened? Oh yeah, we stopped getting games every couple of years. We had to get one. We get one Rockstar game a year. Sorry, a generation now. And you know what the really annoying thing is? Other than the fact that we were originally going to get single player Rockstar made Grand Theft Auto 5 expansions, we were going to get 8 originally. That did so well that even though Red Dead Redemption 2 sold like 50 to 70 million copies, it wasn't enough for them to make a Undead Nightmare 2 for RDR2, right? Because not enough people were playing the online for Red Dead 2. How crazy is that? Like 50 million people? That isn't enough. That isn't a high enough number for you to make single player expansions. Crazy. But yeah, that's Rockstar. Everything they do prints money. You know, this wasn't a topic, and we can talk about this quickly for a second. So, Max Payne Remake, which is being made by Remedy Entertainment, but it's going to be published by Rockstar Games. I think that's going to be interesting when it comes to its sales because there's people that will buy a Rockstar game just because of the logo. So, will this do well, the Max Payne remake? will that do well because it's got the Rockstar logo on the box?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. But yeah, crazy to think. By the way, isn't it funny how Remedy originally made Max Payne, then they sold the IP to Rockstar, then Rockstar makes Max Payne 3, then skip forward 10 years, Rockstar hires Remedy Entertainment to make a remake of Max Payne 1 and 2 as a singular game. Nice. Which we still haven't
Full
seen.
circle, yeah.
Yeah, full circle. But for people that don't know, Rockstar sued Remedy over their logo.
You know, it's funny is Remedy has actually been sued a ton over the years over their logos. Like they even got into bad blood with LucasArts at one point, a bunch of other studios. For some reason their creative team just can't get the logo right.
Yeah. But hey, I'm hoping success for Remedy because they make amazing games that just don't sell well.
I know, it's so sad.
You know, Control did okay. Alan Wake 2 is still stuck on Epic apparently. Um, FBC Firebreak, I think they did a great job with launching that in Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. And now I think it's like $20, like for the full game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, their games just don't sell well. It's a weird one.
I
You know,
think this might sound a little highbrow or whatever, but like I think maybe they don't sell as well because they're a little bit kind of like art house or um they're like educated games, kind of like they're thinking man games. Like there's not a whole bunch in there that is just point A to point B or just like raw, I got a big sword and I'm gonna, slash 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 or like pretty just basic, you know, easy grasp, easy go type stuff. Like they have like quantum physics and string theory
yeah,
and like incredibly morally complex police and time mechanisms and you know alter realms and timelines, all kinds of stuff to where it's very fringe type science stuff, to which makes me wonder if that does affect the sales because it's not a oh grab ball put in basket or throw ball downfield touchdown or bang 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 enemy is dead kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, look, Alan Wake 2 had some incredible level design.
Oh, it was masterclass, 100%.
Interesting story, but like that game wasn't. Yeah, you're right. That game didn't really have the more straightforward story, and like when you have to piece together the cases close to the end of the game,
Mhm.
like I bet most people would just tune out at that point. Control's plot is all over the place, but I love the fact that
Mhm.
it's all over the place. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Max Payne. And Control Resonant looks bat crap crazy, which I love. And they blatantly taken things from Inception for that game.
Oh, yes. Just like True Detective and
Yeah,
Stephen King for all their other stuff.
yeah, which I'm all for. I think more games need a bit more Inception. Let's see what we got next. Oh yeah, we're about now in the
Oh,
show.
speaking of which,
Yeah,
if I can throw one little thing in there, it
yeah, yeah.
reminded me. Back to the licensing thing. A fun fact about Alan Wake, the original one. There's a quote in the early in the opening cutscene from Stephen King in the first Alan Wake, and that was something they actually had to license, like just to use a quote and to do stuff like that.
Wow.
But luckily, Stephen King was really cool about it, and he only charged them $1, and they were able to get the quote and use it for their story. And he liked the game and everything, and it you know But, there are other scenarios where you're trying to use a quote or something, or, recite a famous line or whatever, and it will cost a lot. It's just another example of how crazy licensing is. Like, just to quote something.
Yeah, I had no idea you needed that for a quote. Bloody hell. Um, my God, yeah, Remedy use, and actually Kojima's games use a lot of quotes as well, so that must be a nightmare. Um, my God, I'm gonna have to see if I can get a developer on at some point just to talk about licenses, you know, um, because I've always been fascinated by, like, some games get delisted after a couple of months, some games get pulled from stores due to a song, you know. Medal of Honor 2010 isn't backwards compatible because I think of one Linkin Park song. You know,
In the end, it doesn't even matter, Jamie.
yeah. Oh, I love that song. Try not to swear.
It's so good.
Um, but hey,
Uh,
hopefully things change. Anyway, we're about now at the show. If you're enjoying it, please hit like, share, and subscribe. I know it's annoying when I do these little ads, but we don't have adverts during the show that's live, and also the likes do surprisingly help with the algorithm. Somehow. It has to do with a bunch of numbers, I'm guessing. And also, Super Chats are live if you want to support the channel and all that stuff. And all that stuff gets put back into the channel. Anyway, we still have about 7 topics left, and obviously the big one about exclusivity. So we'll go through these ones pretty quickly. Marathon is having some problems retaining its user base. Same with the Arc Raiders thing. These games have lots of rats. And it's just annoying. Like, you spend your hard-earned money on a game, and you have this person hiding in certain areas trying to ruin your game. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Arc Raiders, Marathon. I'm guessing. Actually, to be fair, I haven't seen anyone play Escape from Tarkov and have that treatment. But it is a problem with Marathon and Arc Raiders, and these are problems they can be ironed out. They can put in modes where, again, PvE only mode, I think, would help a bunch of these games out. And you also have the console players. Console players still aren't really familiar in the mainstream with extraction games. Give them a mode that they can play solo or with a friend, not have to worry about other players. And as someone that was in the beta in Marathon, let me tell you, that game is very sweaty. Like, you have smaller maps than Arc Raiders, so like you bump into people more often. At least it felt that way. And the enemy AI in that game was brutal. Give people a more chill mode. Like, Marathon will be fine. And I'm as much as I didn't like Marathon for its PvP nature, I want Marathon to pop the hell off so Arc Raiders gets its crap together. They need competition. And by the way, this wasn't a topic, and we'll talk about this for a couple of seconds. So apparently, and I can't believe this is real, so apparently Epic is making an Arc Raiders style mode / game based around Disney characters. Now,
Interesting.
I couldn't believe it when I read that. But at the same time, I kind of did, because remember when PUBG popped off? Right? PUBG was massively popular, and all of a sudden, Fortnite turned from this wave-based zombie game to the biggest battle royale game on the planet, which is the reason we have battle passes. But yeah, it's Epic chasing trends, because I honestly think they can't make new games anymore. That's my opinion. But who knows? I'd like them to, prove me wrong. So anyway, you know what? Let's keep this. I'm just moving the topics around on my phone. So Xbox announced a brand new format for a showcase, and this is called Xbox First Look. And look, I'm all for new showcases all the time. I'll take one every week if I could. But this one is going to be featured around new big third-party games that Microsoft's partnered with. And this first one is about a new game that was announced 2 days ago called Metro 2039. I absolutely adored Metro Exodus. My God in heaven. I won't talk about how I broke my save in my first playthrough. But long story short, it was a nightmare, and I replayed it back in I think 2024, and I had such an incredible experience. Anyway, the sequel, people have been waiting years for this, and yeah, it's going to be showing off on Thursday at this Xbox First Look show. Logan, what do you think? Because like, I don't know if you're familiar with Metro, but like them also having a brand new format for showcases.
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with Metro. I really enjoy those games. Like they're very morally, gray and like it's like how Fallout takes the apocalypse in one end of the spectrum where it's comical but also has some dark stuff.
Yeah.
It's like this is like no, there is no funniness here. This is all dark. And it's nitty gritty and just very Russian and European styled compared to Fallout being Americana. And I love the world and the characters, the lore, the gameplay, the creepiness of it, frankly. Like it is like spooky compared to Fallout. And like I like the idea of this new presentation format, the first look. To me, it seems like a great idea that Tina Amin and her team have come up with, where basically it's like, hey, we'll do a quid pro quo, like we'll do a marketing spiel for your game and use our panel, our effects, our whatever, and make your game look really cool, get all the bells and whistles. You throw in play anywhere and guarantee for, certain things for Xbox. Everybody wins. And yeah, to me it seems like a great idea. And I can totally see some other major third-party games getting featured in the near future. And if this is a way to make sure they get Play Anywhere support and some other stuff, then by golly, keep doing it. It seems like a great idea.
Yeah, I'm always for new showcases, but like having them featured around new game announcements, I love the idea, and I think a lot of people um have been really needing to see what the new game's like, because for people that don't know, Metro Exodus has a very unique ending, depending on how you
Mhm.
play it. Um, like we don't know, are they picking a canon ending? Well, I guess we'll find out. But Metro Exodus, hell of a game. By the way, for people that don't know, Metro Exodus Gold Edition is 85% off. Uh, so if you want a really like hardcore first-person shooter campaign that has, I think it's 3 expansions included in the Gold Edition. But yeah, super cheap for a lot of content. But yeah, new format. I'm all for it. Um,
It also has a train, which we both like.
yeah, yeah, has a train. My God, Metro Exodus is such a cool game. You haven't played it, right?
I have not yet. I beat First Light and I beat Metro. I think was it 34? The
33.
first one? Okay, 33, yeah. So I've beaten both of those and I haven't played through all of Exodus yet.
Yeah, I will say this. I'll give some advice to you and everyone that might want to pick it up. Um, Play Exodus on easy, because
Okay.
just the way resources work in that game, post-apocalyptic wasteland. There's these mutant things that happen to like need like 50 shots to the head. Uh, on easy, the ammo is a lot more manageable and gas masks. But other than that, a bloody great game, excellent story, and to have a game where the hub is a moving train, going through the country, it's really cool. Such a cool game. Um,
Question might be spoilery, but is this another one where you have the quote ending where I'm very very nice and I make sure all the guards are knocked out and have a pillow and all that, or going guns blazing ending, or is this different?
without spoiling it, it's not like a pacifist thing.
Okay.
Like you can go through and destroy basically every character in the game, and a certain thing will change what happens at the ending. But like, you don't have to do stealth kills throughout the entire game to like get the good
Okay,
ending.
thank goodness, because
Yeah.
that was really hard
Oh
in
yeah.
some of the other ones.
Yeah. No, no. If it was like that, I'd have a different thing to say about the game. But yeah, you could just go through, knock everyone out if you want. You can play stealth. You can go all action. But yeah, highly recommended though. Let's see what we got next. Oh right, so I saw this on Twitter and I'll quickly mention it because it might be different per region. So Star Trek Resurgence has been delisted on Xbox, and it's about to be delisted on Steam, PSN, and the Nintendo eShop. So it doesn't say which countries it's been delisted in already, but it looks like this Star Trek game is about to be delisted worldwide without a date. That is a terrible shame because I bought that game at launch. It's basically a Telltale game, but Star Trek, and it's the best Star Trek game in years. And there's also a physical version, so if people are interested, if you like Telltale style games, buy that game. You will love it. And if it's Star Trek fans, if you've played, also if you watch TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, it's set in that timeline. And there's a lot of connections to TNG and Deep Space Nine. But yeah, bit of a shame. Funny we were talking about delisting things, and then this gets delisted during the show. But yeah, it's Star Trek Resurgence.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Did you ever play that?
I actually have it, but no, I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, what a game! It is blatantly like made for everyone, but Star Trek fans will pick up on a lot of things in that game. There's direct callbacks to certain TNG episodes. That's all I'll say. But yeah, bit of a shame that's getting delisted. And well, you know what? We'll talk about the whole delisting thing in general again next week because this has really annoyed me. Like, I was just thinking last night, man, there's not enough Star Trek games, and the one of the two games we have left is being delisted. That's crazy. Oh, and
At
next,
least you have Starfleet Academy, Jamie.
oh god, thankfully that's been cancelled.
See, there is good news.
Yeah, it is bad news though, or like, bad in general. That the only good Star Trek news we've had in years is that a TV show got cancelled. Oh, I could cry. But yeah, that's Star Trek. Oh, another piece of news, which we can keep this quick. So, Resonance of Fate. Resonance. That's a different thing. Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy. It's going to be $60 instead of 70, which I think is that's a nice move. That's also going to launch day one in Game Pass this year, which is nice. Now we still have a bunch of big topics. Let's see what we got next. Marvel's Blade. No, we'll keep that for a bit. Oh, right, we'll make this quick because we still have about 8 topics. Fable doesn't really have a release date. It's meant to come out this year, and over the weekend, suspiciously, a new rumor popped up that the new Fable game was going to get delayed. Now, I thought it was kind of funny that these leaks kind of happen every time there's a weekend when people from Microsoft don't hop on social media to, debunk something, right? And yesterday morning, people from Xbox clearly saw the rumors, and the Fable Twitter account start replying to people saying, "Yeah, the game comes out in 2026," which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, people need to stop reacting to rumors straight away and just wait for the real news, because my God in heaven, literally, if people waited 2 days, they could have just debunked it.
This is another positive trend of the current new leadership.
Oh yeah,
Is that this is the kind of ish that the Xbox community was dealing with for months on end, and it wouldn't stop. It just kept coming wave after wave after wave. It's like, oh, this game is doing this, or oh, this studio's doing that, or oh, somebody got fired, or oh, this was sold or transferred or shut down, or and then they would never debunk anything until like the whole apartment complex is on fire. And then they're finally like, oh, I guess maybe we should say something. And I just love this new energy of a quick, like, nah, see y'all in autumn 2026. Like, everything's good here. It's just something as quick and simple as that goes a long way. And that is clearly new energy as well.
Yeah, like one, I think people have to like stop worrying about these weekend rumors. Two, these rumors are brought up on weekends when people know Microsoft can't debunk them. And three,
Hmm.
the people that start these rumors and make videos about them, they never retract their statements. Never. It's a phenomenon that's been going around for a while. I won't mention names, but there were people in January that were making videos about how Microsoft were about to fire 17,000 people, and it never happened.
Oh, Disney just laid off 1,000 at Marvel, apparently, which is like a massive percentage.
Yeah, crazy. And I haven't seen clickbait about that, but it turned out to be real. But with Microsoft, nope. No retractions. Videos are still up. No apologies. Nothing. Because if you remove a video, that means you make less money. And retracting something, people don't want to see retraction videos. So yeah, just wanted to bring that up because I don't like clickbait. Clearly, and yeah, it's annoying. But yeah, weird situation. Let's see what we got next. You know what? Yeah, like look, we will find out for definite what the Fable situation is when it comes to their release date. I'm guessing this June, because there's a lot of developers that still haven't have release dates announced. There's a lot of games coming out this year that haven't even been announced yet, and there's a lot of games that don't have release dates or release windows that are meant to come out this year. So we'll find stuff out, and a lot of these companies are relying on you know knowing when GTA comes out. I know a lot of people are getting sick of the whole GTA thing being brought up, but unfortunately, all these studios they look at Rockstar just to make sure if they're like moving or not. But we'll see what happens. Um, right. So Asha Shah has been changing a bunch of things when she got into the leadership position at Xbox. Some people have said that I'm glazing the situation and like I don't like Phil Spencer anymore. It's like no, Phil Spencer saved Xbox, right? Phil Spencer in 2013, came out and basically saved Xbox from what it was, going downhill. They took out the Kinect of the box. They got work on backwards compatibility. They came up with Game Pass, and then eventually start buying studios, which was to fix a big problem with Xbox where they didn't have enough studios making content. And which at the time I was like, finally, they don't have to rely on all these external studios, companies that were making things like Crackdown, Recore, Quantum Break, Dead Rising, right? They weren't having to rely on these third-party companies anymore. And actually table this topic for a couple of minutes because one of the things Asha Shah has been talking about behind the scenes is how they can make Game Pass cheaper. And there's been talk that Call of Duty, and this has been suspected for a while now, that would they remove Call of Duty to bring down the price of Game Pass? Will they change the structuring of Game Pass so maybe you have all the benefits of Ultimate, but maybe Call of Duty is in something else? But like, look, I will never celebrate the price of anything ever going up. Clearly, we've talked about the price of games in this channel, the price of hardware, the price of services. Game Pass going up in price the way it did, I know for a fact priced people out. And that to me is unacceptable. Right? Game Pass is a phenomenal service, but like the way they raised the price is terrible. And like I use Game Pass every day. I think it's a great service. You get your discounts, you get your day one games, a huge library of games. But like raising the price the way they did clearly had problems. And the fact that we pay for a Fortnite battle pass that maybe we don't use. I don't play Fortnite, so I've been charged more for a battle pass that I don't use, right? So like I don't know why that's the deal. How much money is Microsoft having to pay Epic for that deal? We don't know. So like it looks like maybe we'll see some different Game Pass options. Personally, I think they need to remove the Fortnite Battle Pass thing. That's clearly costing them money, and maybe look at Call of Duty being removed. Right. By the way, when this became a topic over the weekend, I didn't even know why. So I just posted my own opinion from last year on Twitter. Oh my god, Logan! I think I had like 200 replies. People were angry, right? Like my opinion, and I stand by it. I think if they want to bring down the price of Game Pass, I think if COD is the reason, take out COD. I genuinely believe that. Some people have said, "Won't this start? Like what if this? It's a start of a snowball effect where they remove other day one games." I don't say it that way. I think Call of Duty is the biggest game on the planet that isn't called Grand Theft Auto. Tens of millions of people play and buy that game every year. I think that could be the one game you afford to not have in the service. Or do something different because clearly the current situation, pricing people out, isn't working for people. I think that the fact that you have people have told me like, "Hey Jamie, I use Game Pass all the time. I think it's great, but I can't afford it anymore." Right? People are gonna barely afford to eat or pay the heating, right? And you have Game Pass going up, right? And Game Pass Ultimate, it has your big catalog of games, it has your online, it has everything. Them raising the price didn't do anyone any favors. And what did we get in return? A battle pass for a game that I know for a fact most people I talk to don't even play. Right? So that's crazy. And yeah, cloud is included. What if you don't use cloud? Like, Logan, what's your take? Because if Asher Sharma is actually, going to do some changes with Game Pass, like we don't know what'll happen. It's obviously going to be something that takes some time, I'm guessing, but they clearly aren't seeing the growth they want. And the growth before was actually really good. Aaron Greenberg had posted about it all the time, that the growth of Game Pass is great. But them charging more money for it, for what we got in return, wasn't worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like this might sound like a random question, but I promise it's related. Yeah, did y'all have Build-A-Bear workshops over in the UK?
We have something similar, yep.
Okay, but you get the concept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it feels like or like cable used to be. Like for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there used to be at the mall or places like that. You could go in and bring your kid in or go in and build a bear for somebody and send it to them or gift it to them. And basically, you go in there and you're like, "All right, I want this teddy bear." And then I'm gonna pick like these clothes or these accessories and this stuffing or this or that or whatever, and you build your bear. And it's like you pay for it. It's like, all right, this is all the stuff we did to it, and it comes out to this much, and you're like, okay, awesome. This is the bear I wanted, and I built it myself. It's like and then like cable, it used to be it's like, okay, I want this premium sports package. I want the HBO on here. I want, stars or movie stuff or, you know, different news outlets versus those or whatnot. And like you put what you wanted in it and then you're like, no, I don't watch the cooking channel. Why would I have that in this? And you take that out or stuff like that. And you tailored it to what fit your tastes and your needs and your budget. And to me, it seems a no brainer to do that for Game Pass. Now that they somehow have come to their senses and realized that, oh, maybe a 50% price hike wasn't such a popular, great idea. Um, and they realized that a whole bunch of people, like myself, do not give two flying fiddly flips about Fortnite or um V-Bucks or, Ubisoft Classics or whatever they might have added to quote justify the price hike. It's like, buddy, I've never played a match of this in my life. I do not want to subsidize somebody else's rainbows and sunshines and kittens when, this is $30 a month. Come on, man. So build it to where it's like build a bear. Build your Game Pass. Like I want first party day one. Okay. That'll be this much per month or this package. Or I want cloud 100% included or I don't care about cloud, whatever. Or, I want EA Play, or I want the Fortnite stuff, or I want to punt that into the sun and replace it with World of Warcraft or Fallout, Club or whatever other subscription or thing. Or say, you know what, I want to save money and just not have a replacement for that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of revisionist history about the Activision deal about oh, it was all about Call of Duty. It was never all about Call of Duty. That was what Jim Ryan wanted you to think. And he danced around the globe trying to get the deal killed
Oh yeah.
for Call of Duty and saying they couldn't possibly survive and all these horribly tragic things that were clearly not true. Um, but yeah, it to me the Activision deal was always about the other IP,
Oh yeah.
and COD was just a bonus. Like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Gun, StarCraft, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Prototype, Singularity, reuniting the licenses for like Hex and Heretic, Quake, Wolfenstein, like all these other IPs and studios and teams, and being able to use those franchises again or free them from the COD mines was always the biggest attractive thing to me personally. Call of Duty was just like, hey, that's cool. Yeah, I'll take it. But never at oh, we're going to extort you for an extra third of the price just to put it in when all you do is play the single player campaign anyway.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like if they want to charge more for a version that includes Call of Duty, okay, cool, I get that, but make it optional. Don't go, you get COD or you get nothing. Like that's very draconian. Like in the year of our Lord 26, surely we can figure this out. Asha seems like a really smart lady. I think she'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have a super chat, another one by Eternal Shaddai. Excuse me. Thank you very much for the $20. He says MS should put basic tier, limited catalog, no day one, $5 to $7 a month. Standard tier, delay access to new releases 3 to 6 months, $10 a month. And ultimate for $20 a month, day one, and cloud also regional pricing, optimization, region lower, yeah, because like what we're paying in the UK at the minute, it works out to about £70 for 3 months.
Ooh.
£70, that's like $92. So yeah, we get a la screwed when it comes to us and pricing. But yeah, thank you for the $20, Eternal Shaddai. Nail on the head with the pricing. I like that pricing. In the 3 to 6 months thing for that tier, I could be on board with that. I think that would work. Because it's like when it comes to like big budget like movies now, right? Like you have option to mainly buy them digitally day one. Most big budget movies don't release in Netflix or something. So like having the premium one be the day one stuff, I can get behind that. Yeah, the 3 to 6 months later thing. Yeah, I can completely see that. Look, what do you think about that? Because I like the pricing model, and the 3 to 6 months for first party stuff in the second tier. I think that would work.
Yeah, that seems reasonable to me, and I like the idea of a bare bones package for like the thrifty, just dirt cheap. Give me the bare essentials customer because there are definitely those customers, and then like a premium tier that has anything under the sun. But of course, you pay out the wazoo for it. But you know, it seems like there's clearly room to wiggle with this compared to a flat 30 and you're just gonna like it kind of thing.
Yeah, the $30 was. I think that's just breaking the bank for people. Like a lot of people already have, you know, Disney or Netflix or Prime and stuff, and like all these things add up. And like to have a £30 or sorry $30 service added on top of that, it's just unnecessary. Um,
Yeah, it's like I'm not even being cheap. It's just crazy expensive. Like if you compare it to like normal subscription stuff or what we spend on a daily basis.
yeah. And it's all like a how should I put it? A price evaluation thing, right? So like when Disney Plus first came out in the UK, it was £72 for a year, and at the time I was like, you know what, that's bloody good. And what happened? I end up using Disney Plus every day because I like to watch the Clone Wars. Um, and when they raised the price of Disney Plus again, I thought, you know what, for the amount of time I use it, I think the extra cost is worth it. But like if that went up like the way Game Pass did, I honestly would be looking at Disney Plus and think maybe I won't get it because I ain't watching ads on Disney Plus. No way in hell. But like with Game Pass, like they need to do something with the price. And like look at all the things that Game Pass Ultimate includes, right? Even the things people don't really talk about, the extra Ubisoft games, right? I play a lot of Ubisoft games. And when they put all those games into Game Pass, I think it was late last year, early this year, I thought, okay, this is cool. And I noticed, wait a minute, I own almost all of these. I own almost all of Ubisoft's games. So I was like, okay, so I'm not getting any extra bang for my buck with Ubisoft games. And then I was thinking, well, isn't EA Play technically the most pointless thing in Game Pass? Because they release 2 games a year. They're both sports titles. And like their catalog's tiny, right? It's the one subscription service you never see advertising for, right? So why are we paying for an EA online sub which nobody uses, right? Yes, you're gonna have people that sub to maybe play some Mass Effect because Mass Effect's the best thing since sliced bread, and Dragon Age 1 and 2, stuff like that. But after they're done, why are they subscribed to a service that offers EA games they don't play? Yeah, you know, like, does anyone listening right now? Do you play EA Access games on a weekly basis? I'm guessing no, right? They have a bunch of Need for Speed games, not the ones I think people would like, but it just seems like that's a weird thing to pay for. And the a la carte thing I think would work, but there's a slight problem with that, and it occurred to me a couple hours ago. How would Microsoft sell gift cards for Game Pass if there was an a la carte situation? I don't know how to do that. Um, but hey,
Maybe go the way of the dodo on those and just don't.
yeah, they could do that. But man, at least Asher Sharma's mentioned it because that has been a big sticking point for months. You know what? This is going to be a long topic, so we'll talk about the big thing right now. Apparently, there's talks behind the scenes about exclusivity. Now, this has been a very heated topic. Uh, I've been called some very distasteful things uh, about this topic because I think, look, it's a volatile subject, right? There's people on either side of the fence that want one thing, and there's people in the middle that think, hey, let's all, run down the street holding hands together, chocolate and rainbows, kumbaya, which is all cool, I guess.
I think that's the worst camp, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
pick a side.
yeah.
Don't be the fenced
Right.
person.
Do you want my opinion about why they're the worst? Right? Because it's
Because
unrealistic.
they play both.
They play both, but it's unrealistic. Right?
Hmm.
You have these people that say, "Hey, let's be all wavy gravy. Look at me. I'm Mr. Magic Man. I'm making people happy. Like that. Like no, like that's unrealistic, right? It would only make sense if all consoles were putting their games on everything, right? So if you could play your Super Smash Brothers on a PlayStation, your Zelda on an Xbox, your Gears on a Switch 2, your Uncharted on an Xbox, all everything, right? Then that would make sense. It 100% makes sense. But the problem is, it doesn't work that way. And by the way, when this was brought up last week, I had people telling me, like, oh, so you've been okay with the multi platform thing for the past 2 years, but now I'm not. Go back to any post I've ever made podcasts, videos, live streams, posts on Twitter. I've never once said that I liked it. Never once. People can do the little research and be stalkers and, try and find receipts, but they won't find anything because I've never liked it, right? I think that if you're an Xbox fan, you have a built-in library. You're going to be getting an next-gen Xbox anyway because they have all these cool games coming, brand new features. Nice. How do you attract new people? These wavy gravy people can never answer me. you know, I would love it if every game was on everything. It's just not realistic. You have backwards compatibility, amazing feature. Yeah, I'm glad some people picked up on this on the Simpsons phrase. Uh, but that's all I could think of when it comes to these kumbaya people, right? It does remind me of like the Simpsons, where Ned Flanders, I think he got the recipe for something Homer Simpson made, and Marge was saying, "Look, Homer, you shouldn't be upset. People are happy, right?" And he had like the most deranged, like sort of like crash out ever. It's like, "Ooh, look at me! I'm making people happy. I'm the magic man from Happy Land in a gumdrop house in a lollipop lane." Something like that. And it just stuck with me because like that's what Xbox is at the minute, right? They put in their games and everything, which is nice. More people can play them. Cool beans. But how does that help Microsoft grow? So like back when the whole multi-platform thing kicked off in January 2024, I said I hope Microsoft isn't sacrificing long-term growth for short-term gain. Fast
They
forward
did.
2 years later, Nostradamus himself, me, basically was right. Because as Logan pointed out on Twitter a couple of hours ago, the Starfield numbers on PlayStation are abysmal. So I was right, right? Because they aren't. Excuse me. They aren't making they're making money off these ports. Some of them, but like, is it really worth the damage to the brand long term? How do you sell people on an Xbox that don't have one already, right? Do you just tell them about backwards compatibility? Cool. Do you tell them about quick resume? Cool. But let's be honest, the meat and potatoes of any ecosystem in the gaming space are video games. So like, how do you sell someone an Xbox that already owns a PlayStation if they're getting your games, right? And that's where a lot of people in this community are butting heads at the minute, like those dinosaurs, right? Because some people want games on everything, some people don't want any games on anything, on any of the competition, and some people are just like happy, happy chappy wavy gravy people. Like let's all be happy that more people get to play these games. Kumbaya, if you will. And like, look back to my original point. Phil Spencer done a lot for the brand, saved the brand, but Was Xbox growing as much as it needed to? I don't think so. I think the multi-platform strategy was a failure because, look, back in January 2024, what we were told, 4 games only, no indication of more games. Cool. I even had a live stream on the channel where the thumbnail is Master Chief holding a glass of whiskey up, saying it's a good day for Xbox or something like that, because only 4 games. It's not bad. Nobody would have batted an eye.
Such a gateway drug of exclusivity.
Yeah, and
It's just 4 games.
and after I did that stream, I looked at my feed on social media and I realized, oh no, because after I finished that live stream and after we were told only 4 games, Phil Spencer did an interview for The Verge, I believe, where he was asked, hey, will Indiana Jones and Starfield ever go to PlayStation? He said he's not saying no. So what you said in the emergency business podcast didn't really mean anything. It was just meant to calm down the people that freaked out over Christmas. That's what it was for. And I think, it's very telling, right? And Logan, you've heard me talk about this a million times. Ever since Microsoft started doing multi-platform stuff, the conversation went away from video games to the platforms they're on, right? So Microsoft announces brand new Starfield expansion. Was anyone talking about the expansion, or were they talking about the platform it's going to? Every time I post about Fable, about the cool features, about all the NPCs, about the combat in the game, do you know what my number one reply is to those posts? I'm getting this on PlayStation 5 Pro. It's not talking about the game. People not looking forward to the themes, the question, the combat mechanics, none of this stuff. The conversation shifted from the games themselves, which is doing them a disservice, to the platforms. And I think that is terrible. Because game news used to be game news. Now it's about platforms. And I think that is just crazy. And these, the wavy gravy people, and I know some in real life, by the way, the gravy people that think, all these games on everything is great for everyone, which is cool, right? Still friends with them, just that's another problem in the gaming space. People think if you have a disagreement with them, you have to hate them. like that's crazy. And by the way, for the record, my best friend in real life is a PlayStation guy. Shock to the world, like come on. But if they are genuinely talking about exclusivity changing behind the scenes, if leadership was working and the business plan they were doing already worked, they wouldn't hire someone completely different to do the same thing. They just wouldn't. That's why businesses change leadership. Maybe something isn't working. So they get new leadership with a different business plan. They altered the current plan. And then they try and succeed, right? And for the people that always say, and you've heard them say this as well, Logan, I know people in chat have heard them say this as well, Xbox doesn't care about console sales. That is the biggest lie in gaming. Because Microsoft is not a non-profit organization, so of course they care about hardware sales because they pay to manufacture them. And I say in gaming, there's four groups of people. When it comes to this topic, there's the people that want all their games on PlayStation, so they get to play them without buying the console. There's certain Xbox people that want everything to be exclusive, just so they can do list wars. There's the wavy gravy, happy all the time, come by our people, which think everything should be on everything, but they only talk about Xbox. And then there's the fourth group of people, which I like to say, and maybe I'm being a bit not so humble here, level-headed. We can't talk about all aspects without you either being a fanboy or you wanting, to end the Xbox brand. We can't find a happy medium, can we? Clearly, Xbox needs to grow as a brand. How do they do that? They sell more consoles. How do they do that? Give people an incentive. What's an incentive for video game consoles? Video games. Right? It's not so complicated to figure it out. Now, Logan, I've been talking nonstop for 5 minutes, but what's your take? Because like the fact that they're talking about it now is a good sign, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like many things, you and I are pretty aligned on this for the most part. Like Ashra said, the plan's the plan until it's not. I mean, you don't say that if you're not at least considering something. And like you said, you don't bring in new leadership and stuff just to keep things as is. Clearly, there is it's not in the state it should be, and they want to fix that. And they realized they royally bleeped up, like with in regards to some stuff over the past year or two, and they're trying to fix it. Yes, it's later than we would have liked, but at least they're trying. I give them that. And yes, the exclusivity thing has come to the forefront again, as it should. It was a terrible decision. Day one. I have always been against it. I begrudgingly accepted it when it became clear that no matter of pitchforks and torches or screaming into the void would change it. When it became clear, it's like, all right, I'm just not going to waste my energy on it anymore. And I'll move on, even though I cannot stand what they've done. Like, look at the game I love. What happened to it? Like the Mark Jackson meme about NBA. But for
Yeah.
this, it's just like, you know, and you look at the numbers, like all that clown shoes, just goofiness about will this happen or not happen, or we're only doing this, but actually we're doing that. Like, was it worth it? Was it really worth it? You sell 140,000 allegedly copies of Starfield within a week. If that's anywhere close to accurate, who knows, if these people are reliable. But take it at its word, say it is accurate. 140,000 copies for some studios or publishers would be great. An indie studio, maybe a lesser known IP, something like that. Cool. Like, great job. I'm happy for you. That's a good number. But for the first new IP from a legendary RPG developer to in a generation, for it to come to a platform and only sell that much in a week is very telling. And it's almost as if these people that were screaming all kinds of FUD and nonsense and garbage online and into the world were full of it, and they didn't really want the game. And it was, the Xbox brand that mattered more, and it was more about just downplaying Xbox than promoting PlayStation. And it's just it's more like, okay, yes, I understand that selling these copies is money you wouldn't have had otherwise. That is true. That is a fact. It is more money you have made because you made it more places. But if I guess you can't guarantee, but I would strongly be inclined to believe that the amount of money, if you could measure it in brand damage and brand awareness, brand zeitgeist, goodwill, faith, trust, and reputation, if you can quantify that as a financial number, would absolutely dwarf the little money you made from this
Yeah.
port. This one port alone caused irreparable damage. Like, Xbox can recover from this, Xbox can grow from this, Xbox can repair things and get things in a great spot. This can be water under the bridge, even though it was really, really bad and really, really stupid to do that. But Xbox fans will always remember that.
Oh yeah.
And Um, the damage done for 140,000, if it's even true, copies of that one game that, oh, it's not one of the four. Oh, well, it might be. Who knows? Life's fickle like that. And then it comes out, lo and behold, 140,000 copies. And the 5 mil or whatever that would be financially. Wouldn't you say that probably astronomically pales in comparison to the damage done? I think it would, just for one port. And Gears sold piss poor
Oh
on
yeah.
PS PlayStation as well. Like comically low for a legendary game. I know Forza has been doing incredible, but cars are universal.
Yeah.
And like to me, this is where you and I differ from some of the other places and outlets to where it's not a simple black white exclusive not. Like to me, like Forza, it feels like a game that is universal. Like cars are cars. Like it's a racing game. It's really good. It's awesome, but it's not like a brand thing to me. I know Xbox created it, but when I see a Corvette or a Ford Bronco or an Aston Martin car, I don't go, "Oh, it's Xbox." It's a car and it's cool and it's awesome, but that's universal and it seems like it makes tons of money. So put it everywhere. Absolutely. Use that money for some other stuff. But I think you have to have your trinity, your core scarlet letter. Under no circumstances do you make them multi-platform franchises. And once Xbox broke that seal or did that, they completely nuked their brand and the damage was done. They can fix it. Nature can return, grass can grow, the deer come back, everything's can go good. They can fix this. They still can. It's not completely done. But they will bear scars from this. And people will remember this. And bottom line is I would just say if they're listening, do what's right for the brand and the community and don't chase dollars some pocket change you found in your couch or setting the house on fire. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? If somebody gave you $10 they found in the couch and then set the house on fire and said, "See, you made $10." It's like, why would you do that? That makes no sense. That's insanity. So just I don't know. That might sound like a crazy example, but that's what it feels like they did, basically. And I just they can fix it. And for everybody who's the wavy gravy land or says, "Oh, they can't undo this. It's already done. The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's too gone down the road. Once you do it, you can't go back." Sure you can. This isn't the death of a person or something where there's just not coming back from, where it's like this happened and it cannot be fixed. This was a business decision that can be fixed and they can do it and they should do it.
Yeah.
Just like in stories all the time, you see they're like, "You know what? George Luke like, Star Wars, one of the most famous retcons of all time. Darth Vader, Luke. How Obi-Wan said he betrayed and murdered his father. And then you find out very much that, well, actually, he kind of is your dad. And he's like, wait a minute. You mean Obi-Wan, my mentor, is a liar? And he's like, well, what I told you was true from a certain point of view. And they retconned it and they fixed it and they moved on, but it was still kind of like a wait, what? They can do that for this. They can fix this. They can retcon exclusivity and make it where it just happened for these, and going forward, we're not doing that ish again. Or they can make it case by case, or like, I think there's a happy medium they can find. But this whole wavy gravy trend that some of these large accounts have is frankly disturbing
Yeah.
and shows a lack of awareness of the brand, of what it means to some people, and the importance of exclusivity, because PlayStation and Nintendo aren't doing this, and they probably not unless they had to survive. Nintendo or Xbox tried something and it colossally failed. And they just have to man up, get off the ground, dust themselves off, and go forward, and just not do it again. They can do it. It can be done. Don't let people tell you otherwise. And that's my long-winded answer for that.
No, that was great, man. Before we continue with the topic, we have a super chat by Dear Reezy. Thank you very much for the $2. He says, have a customizable Game Pass, create your own price. I mean, that would be the most ideal way, which we were talking about before, for Game Pass, because like some people won't want EA stuff or Ubisoft stuff, or like if you're like me, right? I use basically every aspect of Game Pass Ultimate, really except the Ubisoft stuff because I own all the games and the Fortnite Battle Pass. Like, but there's going to be people that will use the Fortnite Battle Pass and the Day One games, and maybe not the massive libraries. So, like, ideally, the customizable I was keep saying Battle Pass, the customizable Game Pass, would be the best way to do it, because that way everyone wins. You get to keep the product at the price you want, only using the things that you know you're going to use. And I think if Microsoft can do that, and maybe the number one thing stopping them from doing that is gift cards. That's the only thing, unless they can figure a way around that. Um, we'll see what happens, but it's something they can sort out. You know, they have people that work in divisions that it's their job to figure out this stuff. So hopefully we see something soon. By who knows, maybe they're saving this stuff for their summer showcase, where they announce, "Hey, new Game Pass change," and it's actually good news this time. But yeah, thank you for the $2, Dave Easy. A customizable Game Pass is the best way to go about it. But I actually disagree with you, Logan, when it comes to the Forza thing. But I think that might be because I live in the UK and racing games pop off here. Um,
That's fair enough.
like Gran Turismo, right? When Gran Turismo comes out, every time that comes out, it's like a mini event over here, right? Because racing
Hmm.
games, Formula One, Formula E's popping off at the minute, right? Racing games in the UK, pretty much always sell well, and
Hmm.
Forza is huge in the UK, and like I can't remember which Xbox it was, but like an Xbox in the UK, I think it was actually the Xbox One, where there was a Forza bundle, right? The Forza bundle in the UK for Xbox One sold out almost instantly. Because Forza is just that big of a brand over here. And then Forza Horizon's taken over motorsport in popularity.
Hmm.
And I live in a country where sim races are the thing, right? And even Horizon did better. So I would actually make Horizon exclusive lifetime.
Okay.
Uh, but like even like the smaller games, right? I think smaller games are perfectly fine on other consoles, like Kiln, right? Party based, party based pottery brawling online battle game, right? I think Kiln on everything day one makes perfect sense, right? You have a big player base out of the gate day one. I think it might be one of the first Xbox games that's on the Switch too. Um, and Minecraft Dungeons to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, which comes out this year. Like I think things like that being multi-platform is perfectly fine. But like Gears of War A Day specifically, Halo and Fable should not be in that conversation.
I
Um,
would just
like
yank those PlayStation ports and punt them into the sun.
yeah,
I would just do that.
And like you said, they can't put the toothpaste back in the tube thing, but I think they can, because how many people have we seen over this past 2 weeks talk about how Sony can pull PC ports off the store, right? Because of that rumor,
Exactly.
right? So why can one company do it but the other can't? And you have to remember, Sony is their competition. Sony, they are willing to pay to keep games off their platform, right? Even games that were announced. Stellar Blade. I mention this at every opportunity, and every time I mention this, people don't like the fact that I mention it. But
Project Eve.
Project Eve, there was the little Xbox logo at the bottom of the trailer. Stellar Blade was originally meant to be on Xbox, and then Sony paid for that to not happen, right? No one in the media cried about it. You didn't have anyone from IGN's Xbox podcast say this is disgusting behavior. They didn't do any of that stuff. They probably said it was smart or genius. And we've seen this behavior happen time and time again. Black Myth Wukong announced with no platforms, and then in July 2023, I think it was, or 2024, it gets announced for Xbox, and then 2 months later at Gamescom, the Xbox logo is removed from the trailer. Bit weird, So like, things changed there. Nobody batted an eye. We were told that it had to be the Series S, and it took them exactly 1 year to optimize that version to the day. 1 year. So like, they have a competition that's willing to pay to keep games off. Final Fantasy VII Remake just came to Xbox this year. That's crazy. That game it took 5 years for them to put that on Xbox. And for people that have followed me for a while, I've glazed the living hell out of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I think that game is magnificent, right? And people have been waiting 5 years to play that. So like, I know some people don't want to hear this, but would it be cool if everyone could play everything? Hell yeah. But we don't live in that world.
We live in the real world.
Yeah, we live in the real world, and like, I think doing exclusives is the way to go. And I have seen people online say, but having exclusives before didn't move the needle. Here's why that's flawed logic. Microsoft,
you didn't own Bethesda and Activision.
Yeah, Microsoft really only started putting out regular games, like really regularly, last year, right? Last year they put out 11 first-party games. 11, right? I think it was 11. It included like new games, sequels, ports, remasters, remakes, right? They put out a whole shebang last year, and that's when they started doing the multi-platform thing heavy-handedly, right? They didn't give it time. They started buying studios in 2018 so they could actually have first-party studios making games on the regular. And what did they do? They didn't even let their plan do its thing. And that was the biggest thing for me. It's like, you didn't even let your own studios see if they can sell Xbox hardware. They didn't even try. But now you have all these games announced. They have the best first-party output this year. Fable, Forza, Gears, Halo. Looks like we're getting Fallout in June as well. You have Minecraft Dungeons 2, Kiln, Forza's out next month, right? It's going to be a jam-packed year. And like, if you originally had no multi-platform talk at all, everyone from IGN, GameSpot, all these other podcasts would just be talking about, look at Xbox's lineup. How impressive is that? Yeah, they never gave their exclusives a chance, right? And little bit of homework for people listening right now. Next time you see a play, and this isn't actually the content creator's fault, it's the situation, but next time you see a PlayStation content creator post anything when it comes to long-form content as podcasts, look at their titles, or thumbnail, I guarantee you see Forza, Gears, and Fable mentioned, right? Because news on PlayStation, it's kind of slow at the minute. They have Wolverine coming out this year, and Saros, I think that comes out this month, right? Cool, nice. but there's no news to talk about on PlayStation. It's all Xbox. That's all people are talking about. Is the Are Microsoft, backing out the hardware business? It's another topic. Microsoft confirms they're making hardware. That's another topic. Xbox confirms another game's multi-platform. That's another topic, right? The conversation is no longer about Xbox games being what they are. It's about platforms, and that annoys the living hell out of me. But that's just my take, Obviously, we're gonna find out what happens. But like, how many copies did you say, Logan? 140,000 for Starfield.
Yes, if that figure is to be believed, which I don't know, but if we take it at face value, that sure as heck ain't worth it.
Which is a shame because I loved Starfield, and
And
we have another
apparently
super
it's an
chat.
absolute cluster cluck of bugs right now too. So
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only did you only sell a little bit, you made an awful port at it.
yeah. You know what? We'll mention that as well. But first, we have another super chat by Nick W for $4.99. Thank you very much for the $4.99. He says that exclusives are why people buy your platform to begin with. Nail
Exactly.
on the bloody head. Nail on the
That's
head.
why I got Xbox. Halo and Knights of the Old Republic are
Yeah.
why I got Xbox.
Like when I got my Xbox One, I got basically every launch exclusive. Same with the 360. Same with the original Xbox. Although I will say this, we couldn't get Blinks the Time Swiper because it sold out.
That darn cat.
Yeah,
It's
but like
back in.
that's basically the only launch OG Xbox game I never played. And like the thing is, we're just normal people, right? Surely people at Microsoft that work at these studios have mentioned this. But is the whole kumbaya thing being too much of it, like a hindrance on them? And like you mentioned, the bad port for the Starfield thing, right? I don't care what anyone says. I will stand on this hill. Starfield has worked for me since day one. No problems, no freezing, no glitching, no falling through the map, nothing. It was the best launch for a Bethesda game for me when it comes to performance, right? And then all of a sudden, they have to make PlayStation versions of games, right? So these developers are clearly being spread way too thin. They aren't making a ton of money off the ports. We don't know how much these ports cost because ports sometimes cost multi-millions of dollars. So like how much money are Microsoft making? I can't imagine that's much. Like you said, Gears of War Reloaded sold nothing. Nothing. And that is an amazing game. Like that's an incredible game. Um like it's not worth the damage, you know? And again, the reason I haven't talked about it much over this past 2 years is because it's volatile as hell. Hell, most of my like videos on this channel are upcoming game releases, right? Do you know a big comment I get on these videos? It's like nobody's gonna buy an Xbox, even though I'm just trying to tell people what games are out this month, right? And it's like you aren't paying attention to the content; you're just yapping on, right? Microsoft clearly want to sell hardware. They have a new console in development. Imagine if they announce shiny new Helix, right? And it comes with, let's say, Halo 6, we'll call it, right? In Halo 6 is shiny, it's new, it's what people want for a new Halo game, and it's an exclusive title. And the only way you can play it is on Xbox console or PC. By the way, I'm perfectly fine with PC releases. I don't think there's a... I don't think it damages sales of consoles.
That
That's my
never
belief.
bothered me at all.
Yeah, I people on PC, they want their fully customized experience. I think it's a completely different thing. I'm just talking about console stuff. But like if you announce look at Elder Scrolls, right? Elder Scrolls 6. People have been waiting 55,000 years for a new Elder Scrolls game. What if that is an exclusive title as a launch game? My
They'd
God.
have them by the balls if they did that. The industry would drop to their knees in shock.
Yeah.
That would be a gauntlet toss right there.
But they have to do something, and it's a shame that all this stemmed clearly because the Activision deal, they clearly want their money back. Although I will say this, how dare they need the money back from Activision so quickly, yet AI has made them nothing.
Oh
Nothing.
boy, that is a can of worms.
Like, just the audacity. Like, gaming, it's a business. Games take time to make, they take time to sell. And then you have this other part of Microsoft that's investing in something that doesn't make money at all. Like, oh yeah, let's build these data centers in the middle of this ocean, and it's helped to make people make memes about cats fighting Godzilla. Like, it doesn't make money, but gaming does, and yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. And that also doesn't help that RAM's costing so high because of that. But look, I know it's a bit of a touchy topic. Weirdly enough, every time I mention this over the past 2 weeks, there's been like wavy gravy people in the chat that have popped up that are saying things like, oh, you want Xbox to hold games hostage. That's the popular one to say. Today, I think most people in chat actually agree with me. Like, and you, Logan. Like, these games should be exclusive. And, hopefully Asher Sharma, pays attention to what people are saying, not just the fanboys that want Xbox to be damaged in a way. And like you said, and I've seen other people mention this, like, was the money they made worth the damage to the brand? I'm guessing no. And I think Xbox, they're going to be completely fine, but like, it's like, to the degree how well are they going to be, because they have the potential to be, they could hit. Look, we've talked about this before. The console user base isn't getting any bigger, right? They have to sell to existing gamers, right? You have Sony, who basically have the de facto console that casuals get. Every generation, there's one console that casuals get for their FIFAs, the Maddens, the Call of Duties, NBA 2K, the basketball game, all that stuff. The Xbox 360, everyone had one to play COD, right, and FIFA. Last generation and this generation, everyone that wants to play FIFA or NBA 2K, they have a PlayStation, right? They have that console to play Fortnite. Xbox needs a lineup of exclusive titles to appeal to the hardcore demographic that buy multiple games a year. And yeah, the hold my games hostage thing is the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. Like, come on, right? I think, the multi-platform thing, it just never made much sense, and it wasn't even. We were basically sold a lie 2 years ago, where, hey, only 4 games, and even I said, Logan, we spoke to each other at the time, saying only 4 games. That's not that bad. Like, we were legit talking, saying, the 4 games thing, it's okay. It's only 4 games. Turns out, it wasn't only 4 games.
We'll take the most iconic franchise from our brand and make a remake of it and port it just for grins and giggles. And yeah, don't even. We don't have to relitigate it, but it was a disaster.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, the good news is, if they're talking about it, that's a good sign. And I know for a fact that there are people at Microsoft and certain Xbox game studios, and quite a few game studios, that they want their games to be exclusive. So,
the true believers rise up.
Yeah. I mean, it's even an optics thing as well. Like, you have a Halo showcase going on, and you have a Halo developer wearing a PlayStation t-shirt.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't happen.
And I don't care if someone says, oh, it's a fanboy thing, not one that. Like, really think about that from an optics standpoint. Your Xbox employee is wearing a PlayStation t-shirt on an Xbox paid stage. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And like I said, look, I think they can and will go back to an exclusivity thing for most of their titles. But yeah, live service games, online games like, COD, Kiln, that type of thing, those will remain multi-platform. I mean, like, look, PlayStation puts the baseball game on Xbox. They put Helldivers on Xbox. Did I think in the past that they could maybe put Spider-Man, an older title, on Xbox? Yeah, but we honestly don't know the situation at the minute. You have Nixus, which a company or a studio that's specifically made for ports. They make PC ports and console ports of games. Like, what are they doing now? That was the main reason for that.
Sweating bullets right now.
Yeah, and that was the main reason why I think like more games would come. But it's very telling, right? You have Nintendo that all of their games sell 50 million copies, right? I guarantee you that if Xbox and PlayStation had that for all of their games, like Nintendo style sales numbers, the word multi-platform wouldn't even be in their vocabulary. Not at all. But I mean, hey, we'll see if things change. The Xbox showcase is in June. I do bet though. I bet that they're gonna evaluate, see how much of the ports have been done for Gears ED and Fable and Halo. I bet they'll try and say, look, how far along are these ports? How much more money will it cost to finish them? And what are the odds that they're going to actually recoup the money back? Because if you can't get your money back for a Gears of War Reloaded port, which is like Gears of War Reloaded is an incredible version of that game, right? You have the PC expansion, you have the multiplayer included, you have the 4K, the 60 FPS on what is essentially a Gears of War remake, right? And it didn't sell. It didn't chart number one. A legendary game like that, that blew my mind. Like, if you could have Death Stranding, a game where you carry boxes and turn the internet back on, chart number one on Xbox, how come Gears can't on PlayStation? It's a third-person action game. It's a bit of a weird one. We have a PlayStation fanboy in chat. They always show up if the term Xbox exclusive or exclusive is in the title. Bit weird that. By the way, before we end the show, I've never understood the concept of hate watching.
I get it for sports, but not for this.
Yeah, sports, I get it. But for gaming podcasts, you waste your own time hearing people that you don't like talk about something that you distaste because you love a piece of plastic too much. Very weird behavior. But then again, in the gaming space, we do have these adult males that stalk other adult males. Gaming space is a very weird place. But look, at the end of the day, I want Xbox to succeed. I want PlayStation to succeed. I want Nintendo to succeed. You have Amazon Luna, which is shutting down, basically. Right? I don't like cloud. I don't game on cloud much. Just because, the resolution's a bit choppy. The fact that cloud's going to have less competition now because Amazon Luna's pulling back, right? Shouldn't we want competition in all aspects of gaming? But you have these little, people, toll rags, I'll call them. By the way, I'm guessing, is that not a thing in the US where someone will call another person a toll rag? I'm guessing not.
No, because
Okay.
I was wondering what in the flip that was. I was just like, do you shine your feet or well,
Basically,
what is this?
a lot of British insults are just two random words thrown together. That's all it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense then.
there's
Because
nothing
I was
wrong
like,
with.
we don't. There's one over here, but it's like it's not toe rag. It's like D bat,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, no.
So
A lot of British insults, you just take two things that are completely unrelated, throw them together, and speak in a specific tone. Congratulations, you got a British insult.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But like people like will pop up and just get really annoyed because look, these same people, they don't want to buy an Xbox. They want to play these games that they claim to buy on their PlayStations, and they just want it to stay that way forever. These are the same people that, if you look at their Twitter feeds, it's all anti-Xbox stuff. You know, they talk about how Xbox should leave the gaming industry when it comes to hardware, but they want their games, right? It's weird. It's weird behavior. But yeah, we did only have one PlayStation fanboy in chat today, and it's a shame because, like, look, I've never once said anything bad about PlayStation today. like, in fact, I think Microsoft could learn some things from PlayStation. For instance, I keep mentioning that Sony has a good editing tool for video on their console called Share Factory. I think Xbox consoles need something like that as well, but we don't have anything like that on console. You just have to edit videos your own way. But I mean, hey, things might change with the Xbox space with Asher Sharma in charge now. Hopefully they do. The good news is that they are listening. So we'll see what happens. Logan, have you got anything else to say before we close out the show?
No, just looking forward to the Metro show. Looking forward to Cthulhu, Replaced, and all the other goodness coming. And stay good out there, people. Don't be wavy gravy. Be firm and committed, one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, look, people can disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. They can disagree with Logan. That's fine. But, like, as soon as you get people acting weird and name calling over this stuff, like, come on. Let's be adults. The gaming space is weird as it is because you have these full-grown adult males that will stalk other males on a daily basis over plastic. You know, that's all it is. It's plastic in video games, right? People argue on the internet all day about these video games. We use our hands to control characters on a screen, and people will literally argue all day. You know, my God, I honestly, the wavy gravy people as well. That's really annoyed me this past week. You know, like the
It's
magical
my
man
least
from Muffin
favorite.
Land. Like, why are you being so nice about this stuff? Be competitive, right? Do these people go to sporting events and want both teams to win?
That's a great question. Maybe we should ask that
Yeah,
next time.
you know, I mean, God, but hey, we'll see what happens. But anyway, everyone in chat has been amazing outside of that one person. We'll be back for a new episode of All Things Xbox Podcast next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. The link to my last video, 20 biggest games coming to Xbox in April, is in the description down below. About 18 of those games are yet to release. April is a very back-heavy month. That has been a common trend this year. Almost all games launch in the second half of the month. It's a weird marketing thing, but yeah, that link is in the description down below. Hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I did mess up some metadata stuff, so it hasn't done that well. So if you're interested in video games coming to Xbox this month, it's in the description down below, and also our @ to our Twitter handles are also in the description down below. Anyway, we'll see you next week, everyone. We're out. Peace.